All right, mis amigos y mis amigas, it is time for the beauty of learning Spanish. Español. Are you ready? First, let me ask you something. How do you spell the f sound in English? With an F, you say? Like in funny? Oh, really? Then what about these words below? Enough. F sound spelled with the GH. Elephant and photo. F sound spelled with a PH. Okay, you say, sometimes we spell the F sound with a PH or a GH. Big deal. English likes to try different things, just gotta catch all its patterns. Oh, okay, player. A GH like in the word thought? Shouldn't that then be pronounced thoft? Okay, I see your point. English is a little weird, so you really gotta study the patterns. Oh, hey, say, what about the letter, A? I mean, what kind of sound, or should I say sounds, does it make, Why don't we take a look at Exhibit B? All the different possible sounds A makes. Oh, there's cat, apple, scan, sounds about right, the ass sound. Okay, but then there's also all with the A sound, about with the sound, name with the A sound, and stain with the AI making the A sound this time. Guess it all depends on what letter or letters that A is next to then, huh? Alright already. You don't have to rub it in. You say reluctantly. Don't I though? Don't I? The point is, English is pretty exhausting, isn't it? Right, that's right, partner, you named it. English is, indeed, a very weird language. Partly due to it being a hodgepodge of different European languages, like Germanic languages, French, etc., and even for American English, some African and other language influences, but predominantly with Latin and a teeny Greek at its root, and each language with a set of different rules. So, with so many rules and exceptions to those rules, English ends up being a pretty difficult language to learn, Maybe one of the most challenging. Okay, simply because of all of its strangeness. Now, this is something our fellow ignoramuses don't consider when complaining about immigrants not learning English. Hey, look, try going from a language that potentially makes way more sense, or at least one whose weirdnesses you've mastered, to a grand old bright, shiny, peculiar one like this one, Pretty much the only way to master the English language is to A, do a lot of read-alongs and read a lot, B, pay attention to the patterns, and C, memorize them all, as you've been doing. But then, from amidst the darkness and chaos, lo and behold, the beauty of Spanish. Here's the beautiful part, right? On the most part, each letter in Spanish sounds the exact same every single time, no matter what is next to. That means the A, or actually it's pronounced A, will always make the A sound in Spanish, the S sound, the I sound, the O sound, the U sound, no matter what letters they might find themselves next to, and every other letter for that matter. See, Spanish is a true blue kind of language in that way. You know what I'm saying? Loyal, steadfast, the friend you know who won't switch up on you when times or letters get rough. And therefore, much easier to learn. as long as you can master the different sounds of each letter in the alphabet and not try to make it sound like English, because that would make you a Bama. Okay, you don't want to do that. So let's scope out the Spanish alphabet, alright? The first thing you might notice is that it looks a lot like the English one, right? You see the Spanish alphabet on your left, right there. English alphabet on your right. Real parecidos, real familiar looking, right? Well, it's true. It does. It just sounds totally different. So please, again, for the love of everything holy in the world, don't try to put your American sounds on it, alright? Because that will sound just god awful, okay? You may be asking, well, then how come it looks so similar to English then? Well, that's because many European languages are based in a root language called Latin. How? Well, I'm glad you asked. You inquisitive scholar, you. See, a group of Latins, also known as Latinis, called the Romans, took over Europe for some time and impacted the languages of Europe. And so many of those languages use the same Latin Roman letters and sometimes even Roman numerals. Sound familiar? But the sounds of those Roman letters or letter combos might vary depending on the native dialects of that region, which is how you have François, Italiano, Español, English, Portuguese, which are all in a sense Romance, get it? Languages. Although English has Germanic influences, so it's also considered a Germanic language. But all with a common Latin or Roman base. But again, totally different sounds. Does it now make sense? So, look, without any further ado, let's bone up on our Spanish, all right? With many of its different sounds, okay? Emphasize different, okay? And memorize them. Memorize them all. All right, so the number one rule to speaking Spanish is the breath check. I don't just mean, did you brush your teeth? I hope you did brush your teeth. I really do. We don't need a mint necessarily for this one. But what I'm saying, okay, is keep the breath more contained when speaking Spanish. All right. So that could look like closing your jaw a little bit for the vowels. It helps to keep the breath in instead of out, like in American English, okay? So, for instance, if you say hot, right? In English, you hear that whole breath coming out hot, right? But if you were to do that with a Spanish accent, it'd be hot, right? So keep it in. Your jaw kind of stays a little closer together, not as out. Okay, and also keep your tongue at the roof of your mouth or behind your teeth. Doing that helps to make the consonants more poignant because the consonants do not sound the same in Spanish as they do in English, right? So by keeping that tongue right there at the roof of your mouth, right there, it kind of gives it more of like this poetic sound, this more enunciated kind of sound. So instead of like a n, like in no, we would say no. So you can feel your tongue being used more on this one, all right? So that is the number one rule, right? Your jaw and your breath, all right? Oh, sorry, your jaw and your tongue. Okay, next one. ¿Cuáles son los sonidos de español? What are the sounds of Spanish? Well, I'm glad you asked, partner. Let's take a look at el alfabeto in order to answer that question. All right, so again, the letters look familiar. They look like English letters, but they are not pronounced like English letters. Okay, they each have their own pronunciations. Again, using that breath check for the vowels, keeping that jaw tighter or not as open, and the tongue action right there at the top, the roof of your mouth, right behind your teeth or right under your teeth for the consonants. All right, so you ready? I'm gonna take you through it. Ah. I want you to say right after me. Ah. Notice I didn't say ah. Okay, it's ah. Okay, so in Spanish you gotta cut it. Okay, so cut that vowel right at the sound of it, right? Ah, okay? Instead of ah. Okay. B, C, J, D. Now notice I didn't say day, because that would be American. Okay, it's de, as in the th that you might hear in they or though or the, right? So it's de. E. Notice again I didn't say a. Okay, it's e. F, G, H. Okay, and whenever you see this letter, it's not pronounced. And just to scroll back just a bit for the he, the he is almost always pronounced as a he, like a h sound. But if it begins the word, if it's the first letter of the word, then it would be a g sound. That's the only one that changes up. The rest of them sound the same exact way. All right, next one, H. And even though we say H, just like we say H, but we don't pronounce H like H. We don't say H hour when we see hour. So the H is also silent in Spanish. H. The next letter is I. J. And if you see this letter, you wouldn't say the J. You would actually just say H, like an H. The next letter is K. And you won't see this one too often. Okay, but I've seen my friends who kind of have alternative sort of colloquial ways of spelling. They'll use the K or the K, sorry. Okay, next one, L. And notice where my tongue is. It's at the roof of my mouth right behind my teeth. So I'm not saying L, right? Or how we say the L in English. I'm not saying that. I'm saying L. So that tongue is right under my front teeth. Next letter, A. A. Now when you see this letter, it's always pronounced as the Y sound would be pronounced in English. So if you see two L's, just think of a Y. You can also like kind of visually see the two lines of A combining to make a Y. That's what I do. All right, next one, M. Okay, and that's M. Okay, so it's a little different because in English we will just say Mary. But in Spanish it'd be Maria. So it's close, but just remember just to pronounce it a little bit more. Maria instead of Maria, right? Okay, N. Again, you hear that using the use of my tongue. So I'm not saying no, like no. I'm saying no. So I'm using that tongue. Next one, Enye. Okay, when you see that, it's just imagine like a Y next to it. So if you see A, Enye, O, or let me say it in Spanish, if you see A, Enye, O, that would be año. Okay, next letter is O. And do not say O, okay, that's American. It's O. O. Very good. Next one is P. Again, don't breathe through it. It's not P. Okay, it's P. Next letter is Q. Next letter is R. Okay, you got to roll your R for this one. The next one is R. So you roll your R even more on this one. So for those coming from English only, it might be difficult or challenging to do a rolled R. I've heard some rappers these days do a little brrr, something like that. That's a rolled R. If you could do that, you could do that. Okay, so but another way to do it that my Spanish professor taught me in college was do a hard D. Right, so if you make a hard D like you would make in dog, the word dog, and just pronounce it more, so dog. So if you notice your tongue is like kind of hard hitting the roof of your mouth, dog. Then all you got to do is curl your tongue a little bit from there, okay, like you're about to go rah, right? So it's dog, rog, and then you just kind of breathe through it. So curl the tongue a little bit from the hard D and then breathe through it, and you should get the R. Okay, so you can keep practicing it or practice with your favorite rappers. Okay, next letter is S. And again, different from the English S. It's not a lazy S. It's S. Okay, s. So ese, not ese. Okay, ese. Next one is te. Now this is big. Te. You're not saying te like we make the English T sound, right? It's not te. You don't breathe through it. It's actually like a th. So it's the, like think. Okay, but without breathing through it, because we usually say think. So don't breathe through it, and it'll be think, and that's the th sound. Te. Next letter is u. Okay, very good. The next letter is ve. Now you can also say this like a soft B with breath behind it. So ve. Okay, either one. So you could, if it's easier, you could think of it just as a V with a breath behind it, or a soft B with a breath behind it. Next one is W. And you won't see this letter too often. The next one is X. And you won't see this one too often either. The next one is Y. Now, even though it's called Y, it's, when you see it, it's just pronounced as E. So it makes the same sound as the E that you see as the last letter in the first line. E. Okay? And also that letter E, the Y, I should say, that also means and in Spanish. Just so you know, so anytime you see that letter Y, it means and. Okay? Or it could just be the letter if you're looking at it in the alphabet. Okay, and the last one is Zeta. And you won't see that one too often either. All right, so remember, do your breath check. Don't breathe through it. Put your tongue on the roof of your mouth and behind your teeth, right, to really get those consonants sounding like Spanish. Okay? You ready? All right, so let's put it to the test. Okay, so after knowing and memorizing all of your sounds in Spanish, how do you think these words are pronounced in Spanish? Let's take a look. All right, take a look at it. All right, well, let's think about it, right? So that's S, E, R, D, O. Now put it together. Cerdo. Okay, let's look at the next one. All right, you can do it. Pronounce each letter. Remember your tongue. Keep your jaw not too low. All right, E, L, E, F, A, N, T, E. Put it together. Elefante. Good. All right, let's try the next one. Ooh, it's a big one, but I know you can do it. Let's do it. A, R, G, E, N. Okay, notice my tongue again right there at the roof of my mouth. It's not a lazy N like in English. Th, like the th in think. Th, E, N, A. Okay, very good. So let's put it all together. Argentina. Very nice. And the next one. Ooh, you can do it. Let's try it. B, U, E, N, O, S. Okay, put it all together. Buenos. So when you say it fast, that ue sounds like a W. Bue. Okay, so it's buenos. And the next one. Big one you should be saying a lot. If you got some manners. Let's take a look. So remember that he is the first letter of the word, which means it's actually going to be pronounced like a g sound, right? That's the rule with the he. So if it's anywhere else, you pronounce it like a he. But if it's in the beginning of the word, pronounce it like a g. So g, r, a, s, I, a, s. Let's put it together. Gracias. Gracias. Very good. All right, and the next one. Ooh, big, big, big whopper. Okay, you can do it. Pronounce every letter. Remember the breath check. Keep the jaw tighter, not as low, not as drop down low. And tongue right there at the roof of your mouth and right behind your teeth or right under your teeth, all right, for the consonants. Let's do it. P, B, O, S, I, T, I, V, I, D, A, D. Now put it together. Positividad. Positividad. Very good. Positividad. Very nice. All right, my friends. Now let's move on to the PDF to the right. All right, and practicing the alphabets with the video right below. All right, you can do it. You're doing wonderfully. Remember, the key to Spanish is pronouncing and knowing how to pronounce every letter. Because every letter has its own unique sound. That's the only way, besides the he, that to pronounce that letter. The he, remember, has a 2. And just keep practicing that. I would say, practice wherever. If you see Spanish words written anywhere, if you see sentences written, subtitles, just keep practicing your accent and get more and more confident with it. Try different accents that you hear, and just, that's it. Just keep practicing your accent for each of these letter sounds and work on your flow, and you will get it down, my friend. All right, so go ahead and go on to that PDF right here to the right on the website and practice singing the alphabet and the vocales, the vowel sounds right below on this video. All right. Okay, have fun. Adiós, nos vemos. Okay, que le vaya bien. I'll see you soon. Bye.